Today I'm joined with Katja Lisanskaya, who's a software engineer by day. She is a creative and an entrepreneur. One of her most recent ventures is Everent, which is a peer-to-peer renting platform for everyday things. Thank you so much for joining me, Katja. How are you today?
Thank you for having me, Lavis. I'm great. It's a very nice day and I'm really excited to be here. This is my first podcast.
Ever?
Yes, ever.
I am very privileged to have you.
Thank you. Well, it looks like fun. I'm ready.
Yeah. So I'm keen to hear more about your background as a software engineer. How did you enter in that space?
Yes. So actually, I started by creating an app. It was a tiny little game for iOS and Android.
Just on your own?
Yes,
with
the help of my father.
Okay.
He got me into this whole programming stuff. It was, I was still in school and I was just trying some things. And but before that, I actually wanted to be a designer, a graphic designer. Okay. And after that, I actually decided, no, programming is for me. I want to create things with programming. And I said, okay, I want to study it. So I decided to enter a university for software engineering, and I got into the FH Wiener Neustadt here in Austria. Well, Neustadt.
Just outside
almost.
Vienna.
It's almost Vienna.
And for context, you're originally from Moscow in Russia?
Yes, exactly. So I moved here. I learned German. I moved here, and this was like a life-changing experience. Yeah. I love it here. I loved it. So I decided this is for me. Yeah. Yeah. So 3 years I studied. And after that, I joined a company here in Vienna. And since then, I am a software engineer.
Wow. It sounds like software engineering is a perfect combination of your skills and interests, being more technical, but also creative and artistic. Would you agree with that reflection?
Yes, I think so. Because software engineering is both creative and technical, so you get to also, because I'm a full stack software engineer, I get to be on the back end and front end to see things from both sides. So this is definitely great. And the things that you can create with software, basically
endless.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So your first little venture, I guess, was that game you developed with your father.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that was a very exciting project. Were you ever able to play the game eventually? Or?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yes, it actually is still operational. It's still out there. Okay. It's called Membrane.
Nice.
It's a memory game.
Okay.
And it's still going. It still even brings a little bit of something, really not that much, but it's still nice.
A bit of revenue.
Nice. Yes.
Oh wow.
A little bit.
That's really great.
Yeah, symbolic I would say, but it's nice.
Nice. So you worked as a software engineer for a few years, and then the idea of Everent came up. How did you stumble on that idea?
Yeah, it's actually a very good question. I cannot say I remember why I had this idea. I just remember that it didn't let me go. That somehow it just popped into my brain. I said, okay, this is a great idea. We need that. And then I just kept thinking about it. And every day I would just think about it more and more until I decided I want to do it.
What is the idea?
Yes. So this is a peer-to-peer renting platform for everyday items. So the idea is, for example, you are moving into a new place. You need to build a shelf and you need tools, but you don't own tools. And then instead of buying them, you would go and rent it on this platform, like Willhaben, for example, but for renting. So a person who owns a drill would lend it to you for a few days, or the same with the sport equipment. Kayak. You came there for traveling, you rented a kayak for a few days. So it's the same kind of renting, but it's from your peers.
From peers,
from
instead
neighbors.
Of a business per se.
Exactly. Yeah. So because everyone has so many things laying at home.
Very idle, not being used.
Exactly. I guess this is what pushed me in the beginning. As far as I remember, we have like a lot of board games. And I also looked at my shelf that had a huge amount of board games. And I was thinking, why I'm having so many, and they're not doing anything. And I was thinking, okay, I could rent it, I guess. So that was the original idea.
Very interesting. And I guess it actually addresses some of the issues we have in our society now about consumerism and buying a lot of things that we might use one time or a few times. And with your example of board games, I'm sure you love playing board games, but you can't always play board games and you're not always going to play the same board games every time.
No, this is exactly the point, and also one of the reasons why I really wanted to build this, because the more I research into the area and the problem, the more I realized this is very important and that we all buy too many things. Yeah. And this was just such a big motivator for me to keep going.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think that's especially interesting because often when people talk about consumerism, it's usually in the context of clothing, not things per se. So that's quite unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had the idea. What did you do? What was next? What did the journey look like?
So first I was thinking, because I'm a software engineer, so immediately I started thinking about software.
Like, of course, a tech solution.
Yeah. So we will talk later about mistakes, I guess. But spoiler alert, that was a bit of a mistake from my side to immediately jump into the solution and to start thinking about the platform. So before I validated the idea or before I talked to people, I decided, okay, I need to build this. So this is the first thing that I started doing. I started talking to software engineers that I know, maybe if they want to cooperate, and people were saying, yeah, that is such a great idea, but like, and then they would say, yeah, I mean, this is not for me, or I cannot do it right now. Doesn't matter. The point is that I didn't find a perfect partner, so I decided, okay, I will do it on my own.
Why did you originally want to have a partner?
I don't know. You always want to share these kind of things. Like it's such a big thing, and you kind of want to share it with someone.
Yeah, and I guess with your first video game, you did it with your father.
Yeah.
So I guess naturally for you, that's fair.
Exactly. So, but then I said, yeah, I mean, actually, I can do it on my own because I have all the skills. So that also would be a very cool project for me, just to explore software more as a software engineer. So yeah, and then actually I started building it. So I jumped into building it, and I went into all the software aspects. Then I started researching more into not software engineering, but the startup area in Austria, because of course I realized that there is much more to this project but software. There is a lot of like people, business sides, because this is a marketplace, and then that means you need people there.
Of course.
It's not just a software project.
Yeah. How long did you work on it on your own before you...
I would say a couple of months, maybe 3 months, maybe a bit more, before I realized that I need more business view. And then I started thinking about joining the Austrian startups, the entrepreneurship leadership program that they have here. Yeah, that is an amazing program. And I started thinking about it, and then I applied, and then in September, I don't remember the year now, 2023, I think, I got accepted. And this is when I joined the program. So, but in the meantime, of course, I was developing it on my own still, and I was just going at it, let's say. So when I joined the program, I was already pretty close to being finished to the MVP.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm guessing you were working on this in your spare time and working full time as well.
Yes. Okay. It was really marathons of software. It was like I would work 8 hours for the job doing software. Then I would take a break, like half an hour, drink coffee, maybe watch one episode of some sitcom to just flush my brain. Yeah. And then I would back into the software, and it was actually fun. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah. But it was intense.
Okay. And the Austrian program, what was the purpose of it, I guess, for people who don't know? Yeah,
so this is a 1-year program with 2 semesters, and it is all about entrepreneurship, all about helping people find fellow entrepreneurs, people who are in the same journey, so maybe bring people together to start a startup. They're having a lot of workshops that help people understand a little bit more the game, how it all works, which skills do you need, or what problems can arise, what is the right way to go into it. So really, really valuable, and it was really fun and intense in the best way.
Okay.
And this is where I actually learned that I'm maybe not on the right track.
Oh, wow. Yes. Okay. Explain.
Yes. So I started talking to people, mentors and people who have done these kind of things before. And all of them, or very many of them, started saying, okay, but did you validate the idea? Like, you have an idea, but did you validate the problem as well? And then they started talking to me about how you should also look at the problem space before you come up with an idea.
The solution,
I started with the solution, and how they were always saying you shouldn't fall in love with the solution, you should fall in love with the problem. And this all slowly led me to try and really validate the problem, but also validate the solution, because the problem exists. Yes, that is true, but the solution that I had slowly and slowly I realized that was not the correct solution.
Okay.
And what pushed me also is that there was a competitor arising on the market.
Who was the competitor?
I don't remember the name right now, but it was basically the same thing. And I started seeing ads for them, and they were really new, basically, maybe a few months ahead of me.
Do you know if they were like Austrian-based?
I think Austrian-based, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So like it was, and I was thinking, what should I do? Should I push it? Should I try to be competitive, or what should I do? And this also pushed me, of course, to validate more, because this is already a more serious game. Mm-hmm. One thing is when no one is in the market and you're just exploring it, and another thing is when there is a serious competitor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
how did you validate the problem?
Yeah, so the problem was quite easy to validate. I mean, you just ask people about their experience, you interview them. Mm-hmm. Also, I went on Reddit and just researched what people are posting. Yeah, so the problem exists. That was not really the question. For me, the question was more, is the solution the right solution? Yeah. And this is where I also started. For example, I posted some posts on Reddit asking people, would they use such a platform, or why not? And the reactions were not that positive.
Really?
Yeah.
What were the comments?
I mean, the comments were, for example, that a person would say, I would never lend my tools. Because my tools are valuable. If someone breaks something, I might not even notice in the beginning. Some things are so hard to notice that you cannot really tell. Or with the board games, you miss a couple of pieces, and then something you cannot tell so easily. And people have a lot of attachment to their things. Yeah. As soon as it's theirs, it's theirs.
Were the comments specific on certain type of items? Because I'm wondering if there were some items that it could work for and maybe others not so much, or was it just across the board?
I mean, I didn't ask of all of them, of course, but the ones I asked was the tools, the camera equipment, which was definitely a no-go. People are very strict about the camera equipment. No way they're giving it to anyone. Like, that was very strict. I don't remember now what I asked more, but I do remember that in general, it was not the amount of excitement that that is worth it. It was maybe quite small. The amount of people who were really into that. Yeah.
As you were speaking, actually got me thinking. In a town I grew up, someone had this idea of renting out dresses, but renting out dresses and gowns that people already owned, because her idea and thought was, a lot of girls, when we have formal events, we'll buy really nice gowns and we'll probably wear it once, maybe twice, but then it stays just in our wardrobe.
Exactly.
And so her idea was to encourage people to bring their dresses together. She would manage it, and if they were rented out, then you would get, a portion of the proceeds from that. And it sounds really good on paper. I thought, that makes a lot of sense. But she stumbled on a very similar problem, which was a lot of people were attached to their dresses. They had sentimental feelings towards those dresses, whether it's, they wore it to their sister's wedding or something like that. And even though it would just be sitting in their wardrobe collecting dust, they would much rather sell it fully or give it away than rent it. Which was not really intuitive, but so she ended up just closing it down because she just couldn't get enough interest.
This is unfortunately these things happen. It sounds really good on paper, and when you were telling it, I was like, this is great, amazing. And every reaction I got was the same. People were like, wow, this is a great idea, someone needs it, they say. But it was not them.
Human psychology, it was not them.
And this is what you, in the beginning, this bias that you have, that your idea is so great, you just do not listen to the truth.
Just because you might use it or it makes sense for you, you may not be the typical average customer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what kind of triggered this, I would self-doubt, but at the same time, it was a very reasonable self-doubt, because even though it was just my time and my skills, it is still a lost opportunity for me to do something else, something that maybe matters most or more. So,
and you said that you'd already kind of got to developing a minimal viable tech solution for it.
Yes, almost. I mean, it wasn't 100% ready, but the question was, of course, should I push it more? Should I do it, or should I stop and do something else? And then in the end, after all these validation cycles that I did, I decided I will stop. I mean, it was a bit sad, let's say, or maybe a bit even shaming, that, I don't know, it was like this negative feeling that I failed or that I didn't manage it properly. But in the same time, looking back, I don't regret it at all. It was really fun.
No, yeah.
And yeah, I did get to explore so many things and I learned so much.
Along the way.
Yeah.
And that's a really valuable lesson, I guess, because often people, especially creative and technically savvy people, will have lots of ideas of solutions and things and cool apps, and then they try to fit it to a problem when often that's the wrong way of going about it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Okay, so if you could go back in time, is there anything else you would change along the process, especially after you finished the program? Were there any interesting things you learned that shaped your approach?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't really go and change anything. I honestly think it was really cool, and it, I think, prepared me for the things to come.
Yeah.
So now I'm much more realistic and more practical. If I get an idea, I do first validate it, and then I look. And I got some ideas, and I did do this validation thing that I did discard the ideas later.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah, so it is quite interesting. I mean, at the same time, I do think that if you really found something that motivates you so hard, but the problem itself. So you're not really married to the solution, but you're really into the problem, that you're ready to pivot. So you are like, just, okay, I want to solve this problem. It doesn't matter if it's a hardware product or a software product, or it's not even a product, it's a service. I don't know. I think this is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Because then you're pushing it so hard that you will solve it, I think. So this is the way, yeah.
Makes sense. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Any other lessons learned you'd like to share?
Hard to say right now. I mean, honestly, one of the fun things that I picked up was the mom test. It's
what's that?
Yeah, so it sounds really fun. It's one of those things when you push a person to tell you the truth. So instead of you have to formulate the questions in a specific way so the person tells you the truth and not what you want to hear. And that's why it's called the mom test. It's because if you frame the things, even your mom cannot lie to you. Yeah, so basically, because a lot of time you would say, "Oh, I have this great idea. What do you think?" And of course, the person would say, "Yeah, that is a great idea."
Interesting. And so, how would you better frame that question?
Yeah, I mean, you would be very specific about you will not just say about an idea. We will ask, for example, instead of, "Do you have this problem of finding dresses?" You will say, "How many dresses have you worn in the past 2 months?" Or have you ever shared your dress with your sister or friend or whatever? And based on this information, you can kind of see how attached is this person, for example, to the clothes. They say, "No, I never shared it with anyone because I don't like sharing." And this is it. By that, you already know they're not going to share. Because there are some topics that people will not tell you the truth because maybe they are ashamed, or maybe it's some sensitive topic. For example, I don't know, even the sharing of the tools. If you would say, "Oh, it's so good for the environment, would you share your tools?" Maybe they feel pressure to say yes, of course, but it's not the truth. So that's what you want to find out. Yeah,
I actually never thought about that, but how you approach that validation process is very critical because it impacts because it's, I guess, similar to how researchers craft their questions and the methodologies so that they get as unbiased responses as possible. And it's such a good idea to go on Reddit, because I personally wouldn't have thought to do that. Did you have anyone guiding you on how to validate the solution and the problem, or it was just an idea of yours?
I don't know. I think it was just one of those things that we discussed with my peers in the ELP, in the Apprenticeship Leadership Program. It was just one of those things that, have you tried Reddit? No, I haven't tried Reddit, but I will try it now.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I don't know.
To just bounce ideas off.
Yeah. It's really nice.
And you mentioned that you were originally trying to find a co-founder.
Yes.
Having gone through that process, do you, on reflection, think that it would have been nice to have a co-founder, or do you think actually you maybe learned a lot about yourself and realized that you can do maybe a lot more than you originally thought, or it might be both?
Yes. I think in this case, it was good that I didn't have the co-founder, because I think it was easier to stop.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think it was the right thing to stop. So it's like, I'm okay with that. For the serious project, like if I have a new project, I would love to have a co-founder. I think it is really important to have someone on this way. And I don't know. I think sharing the problems and the hard things, I think it's very important. And it's much more fun as well. So I do recommend it. And I do want it for myself. But I also learned about myself a lot. Also, the ELP program helped me, I think, become more confident.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you...
Confident in what way?
I don't know, being out there, pitching your startup, something that you have never done before, and then suddenly you're there in front of people, and it's not that scary. It's not as scary as it looks or whatever, and you can do it, and I don't know. It's motivating and somehow liberating.
As well, yeah. Great.
So, yeah, I do recommend it. I mean, I do recommend everyone who is interested in startups to just check out the program, but not even, you don't have to do the program. You can just come to their workshops, or they have like these talks or everything. So, and the people are so nice. So really,
that's
really
great.
Nice. Yeah.
And even though this program is Austrian based, I'm sure there are probably similar programs across the world. Yeah. And people often say, there's no real degree for entrepreneurship. I'm sure there's some titled, entrepreneurship, but I think programs like these with Austrian startups really do help, because from my understanding, it was led by people who are founders and who have first-hand experience, which is quite unique and good as well.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of people who really already founded a couple, multiple, failed, succeeded. Some people were coming in as mentors, as just leading workshops. It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely cool to explore.
And do you think the software can be repurposed for something else?
Because that's a good question.
If you think, just me, I mean, I'm no software engineer, but surely the architecture of it can be used. And I know, I'm not saying that you should repurpose it for another solution without, but I'm wondering if you could sell it to someone else, or like, surely
that's a good question. I have not thought about it.
Maybe it's not the end of Everent.
Maybe. I will give it a thought. I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Katja, for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really fun.